I'm going to talk about the death of Mozart, who died at the young age of 35 on December 5th in the year 1791. And what I would like to do in this video is induct Mozart into the 27 Club. And I know what you're thinking. He's not dead at the age of 27, but I'm going to demonstrate how he died by a similar, in the same ritualistic fashion that all the other members of the 27 Club perished from. And you see how he's dead on 12/5. And take away the slash, you get 125. And that's special because when you write out 27 as a word, it equals 125. And a lot of people speculate as to whether Mozart may have been poisoned or not. And he died at a young age. And it happened acutely. So it kind of came on suddenly. And then he was gone, which fits the description of being poisoned. But, that ties in perfectly with the whole 27 ritual murder code that is used, that has been used all throughout history. And Mozart is a very good example of that. And what's crazy is from Mozart's birth, January 27th, and keep in mind, he's also born on the 27th day of the year. But from his birth, 213 years later, we get the death of Brian Jones on July 3rd, 1969. And he died on a date with 35 numerology. If you take all the digits of his date of death and add every single digit, it sums to 35. You see? And why that's special is because musician equals 35 in the most pure cipher. And, Basquiat, one of the lesser known members of the 27 Club, who died at the age of 27 on a date with 27 numerology, and Basquiat equals 27, but he died on a date with 127 numerology. And Basquiat was also a musician. But what else is special about the encoding of musician is the fact that it equals 55. And all these ritualistic murders have one thing in common, and they're all in tribute to the deity Saturn. They're all Saturnian. And Saturn is known as the timekeeper. Timekeeper equals 55. And adding to that, you see the 163 timekeeper equals 163. Well, that's the 38th prime number. Murder, killing, death all equal 38. But look at Brian Jones, 163. Just like timekeeper. And keep in mind that time equals 47. But to add to that, timekeeper equals 211, and that's the 47th prime number. You see how perfectly that fits together? So this concept, the timekeeper, very significant in these ritualistic murders. And just look at the 67. Think about how Elizabeth Short, who died in 47, she's born on the 211th day of the year, on July 29th, 1924. I'll show you. Already on July. Oh, I'm sorry. She's born in 24, you see, the 211th day of the year. Not only that, but she's born on a date with 79 numerology. And she was murdered at the age of 22, and 79 is the 22nd prime number. So perfect. Not only that, you see how it leaves, her birth date leaves 155, and Elizabeth equals 155. So you see how when you make Saturn the central focus in all these rituals, they're all tied together by that single thread. And that is ritualistic sacrifice in honor to the deity Saturn. And I want you to show you something crazy. Deity equals 27 forwards and backwards in the most pure cipher. So, like I mentioned, there's good circumstantial evidence that Saturn may have been the first sun in ancient times. And in case you weren't aware, history and everything about our modern day existence is one big fat lie. So you can't believe whatever comes from the mainstream narrative. But sun equals 27. See, very special number to the occult. But getting back to Mozart, you see how Amadeus equals 125, his middle name? Well, they named a movie that was based on a play, both by the same name, Amadeus. But I want to show you the release date for that movie, which came out on September 19th, 1984. And the 84 is significant because Masonry equals 84. And it's very well documented that Mozart was a Freemason. Jesuit also equals 84. And it's very well likely that the Jesuits serve Saturn. So getting back to the movie, the release date, September 19th was the day that left 103 days left in the year. And 103 is the 27th prime number. So perfect date for the release of a movie that's all about Mozart. But also look at, it's a day that leaves 263 days left in the year. And that's the 56 prime number. And Mozart was born in 56. So perfect how it all ties in together. But paying even more tribute to the timekeeper, Mozart equals 93 and 69. Saturn, special numbers because Saturn has values of 93 and 69. Not to mention, did you see how Jesuit equaled 21 and 42? But an important symbol in Saturn worship is the black cube of Saturn. And uncoincidentally, black cube also equals 93 and 69. It also has a 21 connection because 231 is the 21st prime number. And Saturn in the most pure cipher equals 21. So there's no real way to prove whether what secret order, magical order, whatever you want to call it, was behind it. But I found it interesting that, the Bavarian Illuminati, which came out of it, that was in that region that was close to where Mozart died, and Mozart died in Vienna. But I think it's safe to say who the most important deity to the Illuminati is, and I think it's safe to say that it's Saturn. Because, just look at how they pay tribute to that in their name. They could have named it whatever the fuck that they wanted, but they named it the Order of Illuminati. That's because that has a value of 93. And Illuminati equals 69, just like Saturn equals 69. So yeah, he's born on the 27th day of the year. But what else is crazy is his birth date was the date that left 339 days left in the year. And then he's dead on the 339th day of the year. But, to get even crazier with 125, look at the numerology of his date of death. If you don't reduce everything down from a single digit, it equals 125. Just like he's dead on 12/5. I mean, it's so crazy once you connect all the dots, and then 27 equals 125, poisoning, Amadeus, and numerology equals 125. So composer has this value of 104. And Brian Jones was known as a composer. And this is a number that I saw come up a lot surrounding deaths in the number 27, from Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, and even Lacey Peterson, who died at the age of 27. But, composer has this value of 104. Brian Jones was a composer. And you see his, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is a very important point in how those two deaths connect in a very bizarre way. But from his 27th birthday, February 28th, to his date of death was 125 days. 27 value of 125. So, but back to the 104. And Jimi Hendrix is dead on a date that left 104 days left in the year. But when you write out 69, it equals 104. Special number to the timekeeper. And one of the only power structures to have survived from the ancient world, while empires crumble all around them, the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church that came, the Catholic Church which came out of Rome, supposedly, Roman Catholic Church equals 104. And I want you to think about how ritualistic the church is in everything that they do, in the symbols, in the numerology. I mean, they are just, if you look at, all the weird costumes that they wear, the insane architecture in all their buildings. But, probably it's not a coincidence that the church has this 104 connection, a number very special to these 27 rituals. And just look at the value of rock and roll. And the zodiac. This is a theory that I'm kind of working on, and I think there could be something to these 27 deaths in the cycle of Saturn in their zodiac. So I don't know. It's a theory I'm working on because, they say a cycle in someone's, horoscope or zodiac is about, 30 years. Yeah, I've heard different numbers. I've heard 30, 29 and a half, 27 to 29 years. So there could be something there. But Brian Jones, who died 125 days after his 27th birthday, was found at the bottom of his swimming pool, drowning. You see how perfect that ritual was scripted for him because of that number? And it gets even more perfect because Lewis Brian Hopkins Jones, And I don't know if anyone else has made this observation, but Brian Jones died 730 days before Jim Morrison. Or you could say, Jim Morrison died 730 days after Brian Jones on 7/30. Oh, wait. That shouldn't say the 30th. That's a typo. Because, yeah. Actually, now I have to go back and remeasure that because it has the 30th on there. Yeah. So it's the same thing. So I had, um, I mistakenly put July 30th, but it's the same. It's the same measurement. So from the death of Brian Jones, who was found at the bottom of the swimming pool, and then Jim Morrison, who was found in the bathtub, both with the water symbolism, 730 days, and they're both dead on 7/3. And look at the 104 weeks and 2 days. It's not exactly 104, but that's pretty close. And that's interesting considering all the 104 connections. But to add to the more Saturnian symbolism, you see how he's dead 207 days from his 27th birthday? The black cube of Saturn in English Gematria equals 207. And another thing that's crazy is, Lacey Peterson, she died 33 weeks and 3 days after her 27th birthday. And I know a lot of people probably made the 33 connection and the whole Jesus thing going on, but I was never fully satisfied with that explanation because it didn't really account for the 3 days. And they script everything so perfectly that if they wanted it to be 33 weeks exactly, they would have made it that way. But she died 33 weeks and 3 days after her 27th birthday because the black cube of Saturn equals 333. And what I just discovered before I started this video is that Basquiat died 33 weeks and 3 days after his 27th birthday. You see? You see how perfectly all the rituals come together when you take into consideration this one key factor. Lacey Peterson, her surname, Rocha, I may be butchering that, but 27 forwards and backwards, just like deity. But yeah. And, just to add another 104 connection to the 27 club, her full name, Lacey Denise Peterson, 104. Just like Peterson equals 104. And Scott's full name, Scott Lee Peterson. You see 211 and 67. Just like the timekeeper 211 and 67. And I think he's born on the 68th, or the day that leaves 68 days in the year. So he's born on October 24th. Lacey was born in 75. Scott was born in 72. Yeah, so Scott, oh yeah, that was another thing. Scott has 125 birth numerology. How crazy is that? And then he's born on the day that leaves 68 days in the year. The timekeeper equals 68. So crazy. And It's just so crazy how it all fits together. But, not only that, but Scott was born in 72. Let me see if I could find it. But the black cube of Saturn equals 72. Hold on, bear with me. Sorry, I think it's further down. Yeah. You see how Jim Morrison, you see the 207, he died 207 days after his 27th birthday. Scott Peterson, born in 72. And yeah, so a little bit more on Mozart. A few more key points is he died 302 days after his 35th birthday. And that could be because satanic Gematria has value of 312. And I'm speculating, and other people speculate, is Satan Saturn. Satan kind of sounds, it's a little bit like Saturn. And, they both have the first letter S, which is the symbol for a snake. And this, the symbol of the snake often associated with Satan. But just look at Mozart in Satanic. Matching value with Saturn. Even more perfect, fitting into the Saturnian ritual. So definitely, this is who these people serve. This has got to be at the top of the pyramid. There's so much more here. The Lord of the Rings, the one ring to rule them all. Think about how a ring is a circle and pi is encoded into a circle if you do the math. In all circles, no matter the size. Pi, a very important concept to the occult. But yeah, I want to cover one more topic. And that was this movie, Chronos, that came out in 93. Saturn equals 93. But Chronos, which is another name for Saturn. And in the movie, the main character is a clockmaker. You see the gears right here. Saturn, the timekeeper. But I'm going to butcher his name, but Guillermo del Toro, has this matching value with Saturn worship. And it's like, I know who this guy worships, but, and what's crazy in the movie is it's kind of like a vampire movie. And there's this scarab beetle, this golden scarab beetle, that if you get pricked by it, you're kind of turned into a vampire, and then you can live forever. And it really makes you wonder, But look at the value of Kronos, 33. Obviously, a very special number. And, think about how Janis Joplin died 16 days after Jimi Hendrix on 10/4. 16 equals 33 and 93, all relating back to Saturn. So, and this was the release date in the States, but it came out in 93 at the Cannes Film Festival. But when it was released in the States was March 30th. 3/30. I see a 33 in there. But the film takes place in Mexico. And uncoincidentally, because of this encoding that Mexico has when you apply these ciphers. And, I think this is a story that this is a work in progress, but the main character I think his real life name is Federico. And yeah, Federico with a value of 47. Perfect person to cast in this movie that's all about Saturn. And, the main character, he's a clockmaker. I mean, it was so crazy. I didn't find the movie that good. It was just the hidden symbolism behind it was more interesting than the storyline. I don't think it was that great. It was okay. It was a decent movie. But I thought it was interesting the date of his passing had 47 numerology. And perfect way to go for the guy that stars in the film about Saturn, the timekeeper. And the way in Greek mythology, the way that Cronus, it was kind of like a visual representation of Saturn. Cronus equals 27. So you see the 36. I think it's just black cube. What was the cube of? I know there's a 36 connection. Oh, that's what it was. Saturnian. Saturnian equals 36. And the black cube of Saturn equals 117 when you flip this cipher around. So Saturnian equals 117, just like the black cube of Saturn. See? So yeah, I know I probably sound pretty redundant at this point, but so are the rituals. It's just the same repetitive pattern, a different person, but the same numbers over and over again. And in a way, Mozart's death is pretty unique ritualistically, I think. The whole I think this is pretty clever. Um, but yeah, scripted perfectly. And I think right under the nose of a lot of people that I haven't heard anyone report on Mozart's death in this fashion. And I think a lot of people, because it doesn't have if you're a murder by numbers, if you like decoding suspicious deaths, you're not going to see the same 83, 38, 74, those numbers in this, because this was all about the number 27. And, the 83, 38, I've never found any of those in the decoding of his death. Maybe they're there, but I didn't see him. But the number 27 sure popped up a lot. And this to me, it's 125 and 27. It's all the same thing. So I think I'll wrap it up there. And yeah, hope you're having a great night. Peace.